So today I'm joined with Matt Gardner. Uh, it's been years since I think I've talked to you, to be honest, except for social media. But I think the first time I met you was Lincoln High School. I think I
Oh,
was in ninth grade, and it's kind of funny because I always make jokes that there can only be one guy in a wheelchair. Like there can't be
yes,
two. And
yes.
I don't think I ever saw you because you would have been a senior that year, and so I never saw you. So I'm like, all right, where's this other guy in the wheelchair? You know what I mean? Like, but you would have been on the third floor, and I would have been on the first because I think that would have been. I think I would have been. Yeah, it would have been ninth grade. Yeah,
Oh, you sure not? I don't think you're that much young. I graduated in '03. I thought,
you were oh 03. I'm oh 09.
yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't think you were that much younger than me.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
dang.
So,
I guess I'm the unk on this one here, but okay.
but I remember our first interaction was that wheelchair basketball game. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think it
For
was that was my brother-in-law that I think was doing his senior project, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I've never played wheelchair basketball. I remember going into that. I knew that you were going to be there, and I was like, all right, like I can't look like complete shit out there on the court, so I need to try to like practice. I remember I practiced like a month before that game,
Yeah.
and I just remember you and I like basically because nobody else could keep up with us. It was basically you and me the whole time. And I remember at one point you like ran into the door and almost like crashed out of the gymnasium.
Yeah, I was a little reckless. And to be fair, yes, nobody could keep up with us, but those that were playing too were a little bit of a disadvantage because if I remember correctly, I think the wheelchairs that other people were using, I think we got from the hospital at that time.
Yeah, they were like
So
nursing home
yeah,
wheelchairs. Yeah, yeah, they
so
weren't.
they were already at a disadvantage, but we just made them even more at a
Yeah,
disadvantage.
with the experience added in.
That's right.
But
That's
yeah,
right.
I just remember that being so much fun, and I think that was when I really realized like the amount of drive that you had. Like it really came out during that. Like because we kind of like battled. I mean, of course, you had way more experience because like I said, I never played wheelchair basketball, and it showed because I was freaking terrible. But I was like, all right, I can at least keep up.
Yeah. I was lucky coming up through Lincoln and so forth. I mean, I never really got in high school during our time, I never really got into the adaptive sports aspect of it, but
Sure.
I was truly lucky because Al Campman, I don't remember if you remember him as a teacher. He was a health
Yeah.
teacher and then the varsity boys basketball coach. But he took me under his wing early in seventh grade. He saw me roll around the halls. I'll never forget I was in his health class and I thought I was slick. I didn't come prepared. And I asked his wife because she was a substitute or and an aide, and she
Yeah.
walked in and I asked her for a pencil. And next thing I know, I'm in the hallway getting chewed out because I came to class unprepared. Now there's a couple different positions into that story I'm sharing, but the rest of my life and even my professional career, man, I was always prepared. You will never catch me without something to write with, because that stuck with me in seventh grade. But then it was shortly after that, he asked me to kind of join the varsity basketball team as a manager, basically. And, it was cool being in seventh grade and then hanging around, the older varsity guys. When you're in high school, seventh grade for us and people listening, our high school was seventh through 12th grade, right?
Yeah,
So
which was
we,
scary. When you were in seventh
right,
grade, you're like
right,
there's seniors. I'm in the same building as
yeah.
seniors right now.
Yes, yes. But it was cool because I got to, join the varsity basketball team. I traveled and they would let me participate in practice. So being around able bodies, I would start dribbling and pushing my chair at the same time and then taking
Sure.
it a step farther and, kind of dribbling behind my back and bringing it to the other side and so forth. And I was just doing that all in, now all these years later what I call like the everyday chair, and I'm sure we'll get into it later in the conversation, but now being exposed to true professional adaptive sports and using uh, a wheelchair that's designed for sport. I mean, it's crazy how agile these chairs are.
I
And
bet.
when I'm in this chair all day and then we're done gaming, practicing, and so forth, and I got to get back in my everyday chair, man, I feel like a sloth, man. So I wish kind of going through high school, I got a little bit more into true adaptive sports. I did my senior year. I went up to Edinburgh. Family friend of mine drove me up, checked out their basketball team, and I got to practice with them and so forth. And I was holding my own. I was pretty damn good, not to be too much full of myself, but I was good.
Yeah,
But then, I started making money and was like, I'd rather make money than do that. So it's
sure.
not that I have regrets because I don't have a whole lot in life, but looking back, I kind of maybe wish I would have put a little bit more time into adaptive sports and getting in the
It's
wheelchair
interesting you
earlier.
say that because that's something that, I look back, I wish I would have had that experience because, when I was in high school, I had never played any sports. I was a competitive shooter. I did competitive shooting for 6 years. I was very good at that, actually. I was number 10 in the nation at one point
Wow.
at nationals. Like, I was very good at 25 and 50 yards, but I never did sports. And that's something that I always kind of wish I would have did. But after I turned, 18, once, like you said, I went to school and then it was worry about making money. And it wasn't until I was, I think, 30 is when I found sled hockey. Now, I only
Okay.
did sled hockey for a couple years just because I had a kidney taken out. And I was worried that it being a high impact sport, that
Yeah.
it might not be good to be playing sled hockey with only one kidney. But I just think it's interesting that, you didn't find sports until after high school because you play football, correct?
I do, yeah, and it's crazy. I shared that I graduated in 2003, so that was 23 years ago. Math is math, man. It's 2026, but I'm 40. What am I? 41, 42 now, and I'm just now getting into heavily into adaptive sports. I've been doing wheelchair football for the last 7 years now. And I
Wow.
do have 1 year of wheelchair basketball under my belt too. And it's just crazy because as I am older now, my shoulders are shot to shit.
I,
And
I hear you, man. My shoulders hurt right now.
yeah, yeah. When I was younger, man, in my teens and so forth, man, I could yuck that basketball from half court, hit the rim, hit the backboard, no questions asked. I can chuck a football. But now, man, I think you can get me for about 10 to 15 good passes with a football, and
Yeah.
then I'm tapped out, man.
You're
And
like,
then
that's it.
that's it. That's it. And then for basketball, the 1 year I did play, it was right around kind of COVID. It was the 2021 season, basically. I actually played wheelchair basketball first um, down here in Tampa. So I'm in Tampa, Florida.
Yeah.
And how I got involved is I saw something pop up on Facebook about the Tampa Bay Strong Dogs, and I sent an email to there's a place down here called All Peoples, and I sent an email to them, and it's funny. I sent an email to a guy named Charles Bosman, and I forget who else was on the email. So somebody emailed me back and said, yeah, if you're interested, show up to All Peoples. Here's the address. We look forward to seeing you. So I pull up to this gym. I go in, and now, mind you, growing up, I've listened to a lot of your podcasts, and it's funny to let me backtrack for a moment because growing up, it's interesting that you shared some of the stories you had with pressure sores and so forth.
Sure.
And the one that caught me was the damn bed because I had the same bed when I had a
Ugh,
sore on my
dude, those
ass.
suck.
And I don't want to go into too much personal information, but I remember laying in that bed, man, and that bed sucked
Yeah.
hardcore. But to bring it back around to what I was saying is kind of growing up, I tried to hide the wheelchair because I didn't want the wheelchair to be my identity, and I don't know if you felt kind of that same way, kind of
I
growing
think
up as well.
sometimes, yeah. Like
Yeah,
I will say I always felt in the way.
yeah,
So
yes,
so I would try to, well, if I just kind of stay back and nobody notices me, I'm hidden. You know what I mean? Like I'm
yes,
not in the way. Yeah, I feel that.
yeah. So I share all that because, fast forward to the story that I was talking about, getting involved in wheelchair basketball. I roll into this gym and I see just straight dogs in this gym, rolling around, just flying up and down the court, no fear whatsoever. Some younger dudes, same thing, cocky individuals. And this guy walks up to me and says, "How can I help you?" And I said, "Hey, I was emailing with a Charles, and I forget some of the other names. Told me to show up." And this guy said, "Well, there's no Charles here," and walks away. And I'm like, "What the hell is that?" And then they had an assistant there, Aiden, walked up and said, "Hey, man, I'm Aiden. Nice to meet you." And you are, and I said, "I'm Matt. I sent an email about wheelchair
Yeah.
basketball." And I said, "I was talking to some Charles." And he kind of laughed and didn't say anything, walked away. He goes, "Let me get you a chair, because I'm guessing you don't have a sports chair of your own." I'm like, "No, I don't." So they went in and got me a county sports chair that I got in, and I roll out and I start practicing with these guys, and I'm very competitive. It's one of the biggest traits my wife hates about me because I'm competitive in everything, and I can
Yeah.
get pretty aggressive when it comes to competition. But so I'm out there on the court, and that's really the first time in my entire life that I was surrounded with that many individuals in wheelchairs and or with disabilities. There were
Well,
dudes with prosthetics, and so forth. But being in that environment, that was the first time that I was exposed to that many disabled individuals in one setting in my life. So I was a little uncomfortable, but I was also not letting anybody talk shit to me without me
sure.
dishing it right back.
Yeah.
So long story short here, man. At the end of the practice, the guy that walked up to me at the beginning that told me there's no Charles there, comes up, pulls me to the side, and says, "Hey, I'm Wayne Bozeman. Probably know me as Charles in the email. I'm the head coach."
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I said, "Well, you're kind of a dick." And he laughed and goes, "I am." He goes, "But I hope you come back. You got the right attitude on what I'm looking for. You got that fight in you." And he was like, "You might not have the skills as some of the guys, but I can see the raw talent there. Come
Sure.
back. You'll learn some stuff." So I kept going back. I kept going back. And we had our first tournament. I didn't get any playing time. I was a little pissed because, quite honestly, I felt that I was not better than some of the folks on the team, but definitely better enough to have some playing
Yeah.
time.
Good enough to be in the tournament.
Right. At
Sure.
least 2 minutes on the court, right? Give me that exposure.
Right.
I kept coming to practice, and I just didn't really like. I didn't like the guys. I thought they were assholes, real full of themselves and so forth. But then, I'm come home. I tell my wife about my experience, and she just looks at me and goes, "You know you're the same way, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but," and she's like, "No, think about it." And I'm like, I sat on it for a while, and quite honestly, when you and I got things to prove to people, we
Yep.
can be sometimes a little abrasive and so
Absolutely.
forth.
Absolutely.
So, it was we had a tournament in Orlando. I'll never forget this. It was a 2-day tournament. We were in Orlando. Played one game. I forget who we were playing against, but then our second game we were playing Charlotte, the Charlotte Rolling Hornets, I think they go by. And it's the second quarter. I'm in, and I'm getting a lot of playing time. And there's a loose ball, and I'm rolling for this ball, and I don't know. I must have clipped my wheel on another dude's wheel or whatever, but I just remember going up, flying, spilling out of my chair. Now the sports chairs. I don't know how familiar you are with the sports chairs, not competing in sports,
They
but
have a
they're
wheel in the
ratchet
front, right?
straps. Yeah,
Okay.
so like the one I have is four tiny wheels and then the big wheels on the rear, and it
Sure.
turns on a pivot. Like you just jolt like that, and it just shimmies you to whatever direction. So they're
Okay.
very quick, but they also have ratchet straps, and they click in, and there's no quick release button. It's not like a normal seatbelt, so
Okay. So it's like
you
a
have to
sled.
hold a button.
I assume it's like
It
a
is like
sled
a sled
hockey.
hockey. Yes, yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah, exactly like that.
Bucket.
So I wipe out. I don't know what I landed on, whatever. I'm not skilled enough to pick my ass up off the court, ratchet into this chair. So
Yeah.
I'm literally laying there, and the coaches come and they pick me up. And as they pick me up, I looked and I was like, man, this feels different. I'm looking around. I don't do anything. I finished the game. We play one other game, and then we were done for the day. I go back to the hotel room. I go to shower. I take off my shirt. My entire left side is completely bruised. I
Wow.
cracked ribs, but I didn't know that at the
Well,
time.
right.
So we had a game eight in the morning, Sunday morning. And I go in. We're doing warm ups, and oh, I'm like gasping for air. Coach Wayne goes, Gardner, what the hell is wrong with you? I was like, I don't know, Coach. I might have broke some ribs. And he goes, you're so full of it. I said, no, Coach, I think I'm for real. He said, let me see. So I lift up my shirt and he goes, oh my God. He goes, you can't play like that. I was like, no, Coach, I can play. I can play. He's like, no, I can't. I said, Coach, please let me play. Just let me play. He goes, all right, you make the call. I'll let you play. I said, all right. So I go in, I played 2 quarters. I put up 6 points. I had a couple rebounds and maybe like one or two assists. We're playing, we were playing the Miami Heat. Halftime comes around. I'm hurting, bro. I mean, I'm struggling. Third quarter comes in. I threw up a shot. It was nowhere in the neighborhood of the basket, the hoop. No, I mean nothing. And I
Yeah.
went, ugh. He pulled me. So I drive home from Orlando. I come home. I show my wife. I end up going to get X-rays, and sure enough, I cracked like 3 ribs.
Wow.
So I kind of didn't really want to get into basketball anymore. But here's the
Sure.
kicker: I play wheelchair football, like you mentioned. Coach Wayne, him and I talked a lot. Coach Wayne's no longer with us. We lost him 2 years ago, and I've been very lucky to meet this individual, and getting to know him and what he's done for the adaptive sports community as a whole, and what he's done in the Florida area and so forth, and just for the sport of wheelchair basketball. So I've been very lucky to meet him, get to know him a little bit. I wish I've got to know him as long as some of my teammates have, but
Sure.
nonetheless, I still got to know him. But I called him. I told him I really wasn't interested because I didn't at that time. I didn't like the guys. I didn't really like the environment and so forth. And him and we chatted for 3 hours, man. And I was buying everything he was selling me. And I went back in and joined the football team. My first year, I was basically on their practice squad, so I didn't travel or compete with them.
Yeah.
But then, after that first year, all of a sudden, my teammates recognized me as being a leader and nominate me for defensive captain. And I've been
It's
kind of
fantastic.
running defensive captain for the last 6 years that I've actually been playing the games, and I don't take that for granted at all because on my team, man, so we play for it's the USA Wheelchair Football League. It's sponsored by Move United, and they get a lot of the sponsorship and backing from the Bob Woodruff Foundation, which is very big in the NFL as well. So, and why I don't take it for granted is, and they're not my stories to tell, but I got folks on my team now. And again, these are mostly the same dudes that I hated during basketball season that I
Yeah.
now absolutely love. And I would go to battle with them any day, anytime, and so forth. Like, I love these dudes. But, I got some military vets that have been wounded in combat, serving our country and come back and, they've lost limbs.
Wow.
I got teammates that, have been on the other end of unfortunate shootings, and I've got, auto accidents and sled riding accidents and all kind or skiing accidents and all kinds of things. But again, not my story to tell. But I just say all that because, when they look to me and they nominate me for captain, that's not something I take lightly or for granted, and
Sure.
I appreciate that. But yeah, wheelchair football is a different beast, man. It's not as cardio driven as basketball is. Basketball is nonstop. Football,
Yeah.
you get those little bit of breaks as you huddle up and you call the plays, right? So it's not as intensive, but it is unique. And I don't know how much time you want to spend or how much detail you want to get into it, but I mean, if you like Demolition Derby, that's football, man. We wear football helmets. The league's got like 15 teams nationally at the
Wow,
moment. Since we're located in Tampa, we got a great sponsorship by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, we get to wear official Tampa Bay Buccaneer helmets when we
that's
play, Tampa
awesome.
Bay Buccaneer jerseys. Now, granted, I'm a diehard Steelers fan, born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Luckily, I don't have anything against, the Buccaneers. I never
Right?
really have.
Yeah,
Now, if I was in Cleveland, I'm not putting that
there'd be a
Browns hat
problem there.
on.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Now, what's it like for like tackling? Like, do you tackle each other? Because I've seen it, but I haven't really watched it too in depth.
Yeah. So it's a one hand touch basically. So you're full steam ahead, and you make that touch. So and the tag's got to be the torso. It's got to be the body. It can't be the legs, because some guys don't got legs. And
Sure.
it can't be the wheelchair. So it's got to be the torso and the arms, for that tag basically. So
Okay.
I mostly play defense. I don't know if it's because, I grew up a Steelers fan and I love defense, but that's kind of my bread and butter. So I kind
Yeah.
of play the line. Um, and, for us, it's 7-on-7. So you got seven on offense, you got seven on defense. You got three men on the line, three men on the defensive line. You got your three receivers on offense and the quarterback. And then on defense, you got your cornerbacks and the safety in there as well. And
Okay.
we mirror the NFL rule book pretty much.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and again, the only thing that's really that different is we're not kicking, of course, right? So if you
What?
score a touchdown, it is 6 points. Um, and then instead of kicking, we pass it, which is, that 1 point.
Yeah.
Or, which it doesn't happen a whole lot because you got chairs. If you run the ball in, then that's considered the 2 point conversion, and that's how we
Okay.
do that. And then for kickoffs, we line up just like a normal kickoff in the NFL, and somebody chucks the football down the other end of the field, and we play on 75 yards, not 100. So it is 75 yards. That's
Sure.
the only other difference with the field. The width is the same. And we always play on concrete or in convention centers, depending on the host city and how
Sure.
that's set up. So,
That's awesome. Yeah, I've looked into it, but I never really looked into it too serious. I tried playing I wanted to get into wheelchair rugby at one point over this
yes,
last year. I was trying to get into that. And because I was like, well, the chair would kind of protect you more. I was like, that could be. And I'm like you. I'm an aggressive person. Like that's what drew me to sled hockey is the aggression of it. That's what drew me to powerlifting. Like I'm aggressive. Like I like those kind of sports where I can just kind of like let loose. And so I was talking to somebody from the Steel Wheelers, and she basically told me this is like the wildest shit. She basically told me that without saying it, basically I wasn't disabled enough.
yes. I was waiting for you to say that. Yes,
I was
because
like,
we're not
what?
quadriplegics. Yes.
Yeah, she was like, "You have too much function," and I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, I'm missing a left rib. I have a broken spinal fusion. Uh, I have scoliosis. I have a
Yep.
T2 paraplegic. I had a shoulder injury like 4 years ago. I'm missing a kidney. I'm like, what the fuck more has to be wrong with me for me to
Yes.
play the sport?
Yes. That was one of the sports I was interested in too down here because there's a big rugby team down here and they do really well. And it was the same thing. And I
Yeah,
joke that I'm not disabled enough.
yeah. I tell
And
everybody that. I'm like, it's hilarious.
And it's crazy because I didn't really my disability is because I came out in a breech position, so I jacked my entire life up right out of birth. Making
Yeah,
everything hard
same,
right out of the gates.
same.
But I don't know the details of every little thing that I needed. And it's funny when I was registering for football, they started doing a point system in football like they do in basketball.
Okay.
And basically, you can't have and what the point system is based on your functionality and your disability. You're giving a number, right?
Yeah.
So I had to sit on a chair and do all this different balancing stuff and so forth. And then I was classified as a level 2. and the
Okay.
classifications go from 1 to 5, and 5 is basically being your damn near able body person, basically,
Yeah.
right? So the point system is you can't have more than I can't remember exactly. I want to say it's like more than 15 points on the field at once and even on the court as once. And that's really to kind of limit your high functioning, able-bodied folks, because in the football world there are some gentlemen players that after the game they get right up and walk. They don't have any
Sure.
prosthetics and
Yeah,
so
we had
forth, but they
some
have
in sled hockey
low
like
limb.
that.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually had to
So,
tell a kid off. I told this one kid off. He was on my team, and we were doing. I don't remember what we were practicing, and he was like, "Oh, use your core," and I was like, "Bro, I don't have core." And
right.
he was like, "Just use your core," and I was like, "You walk on the ice." I was like, "I get in a wheelchair. I get out of a wheelchair and crawl into my
Yeah,
sled." And I
yeah,
actually like got in his face about it because like I think part of it was like it was just the ignorance of like not understanding. But I was
yes.
like, you literally walk in with your two able-bodied legs and sit down.
I love
Like,
it.
watch your tone, buddy. You know.
Well, and that's what blew my mind too. My very first year when I was involved in basketball and so forth, you know, I was ignorant enough to think that wheelchair basketball was for just people in
Yeah.
wheelchairs. And when
Sure.
I saw one of my teammates walk in, he's walking in, and I'm like, what the hell? He sits down on the bleacher, and next thing I know, he pops his leg off and it's propped up on the wall. And I'm like, what the hell just happened there? And then he gets in a chair and he's buckling up and he's balling with us, and I'm like, why? How? Like again, it was just pure ignorance because just
Yeah.
growing up, not being around that the whole time, is interesting. But yeah, so I had to call my mom, man, and I was like, Mom, what? Where in my spine is my stuff jacked up? Because I had
Yeah.
to give that to the league,
Sure.
and without going back and looking at my notes right now, I couldn't even tell you but I had to get that information to her, and
Okay.
my coach was like, "What do you mean you don't know what's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "My guy, I don't have the only thing I have that's handicap accessible in my life are
Yeah.
the hand controls in my car.
Yep.
My house, if my bathroom, I get out of my chair, take care of business, get back in my chair, my shower. I don't have handrails anywhere. Like I don't
Wow.
I don't have anything adaptive in my house. The
Sure.
only thing I have are the hand controls. And again, going back to the earlier in the conversation, it was all because I've always been trying to hide the disability. Like I didn't want that to be the
Sure.
identity.
Yeah. So you that's just how you've lived your life.
That's it.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow.
Growing up, if there was something high, like if there was a specific cup that I wanted when I was younger, my parents look at me and say, "Figure it out." And here
Yep.
I am being a monkey, climbing up on the damn cabinets to get whatever
Yep.
it is. There was one time going to Kennywood. I'll never forget it. I was probably 9, 10. Um, them big ass hills to get in and out of Kennywood. I'm
Yep.
pushing and somebody went to help me. And my dad looked at him and said, "Don't touch him. He'll figure it out himself. He can
Yep.
get up there." So that was part of the mentality, basically.
You get that all the time, especially getting in and out of the vehicle, which always
Yeah.
makes me laugh because like I drive
How the
like
hell did I get
much.
here the first time?
That's always what I think to myself. I'm like, first off, like you're watching me get into a truck that has a 3.5 inch lift and it's got 35-inch tires. Like, I think I got this figured out, or I wouldn't be getting into it to start with.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it goes back to the ignorance of people, and like, and people just want to help. You know what I mean? Like, of course, like I try to be nice about it. I always try to be polite, not just be a complete dickhead. But I'm like, after all, you're like, dude, come on, like.
Now tell me this: do you get the looks parking in the handicap spot with that sweet white truck of yours that's all lifted,
Dude, I love the
thinking,
looks. I love the looks. And you know what's funny is I don't get the looks now because they see the big ass crane come out of it. They're like, oh. But I used to get the looks, and like every now and then it would be to the point where I'm like, you know what? I haven't said anything to anybody in a while. I'm gonna say something to this person.
"Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
So yeah, I've always gotten the looks. I remember one time when I was in high school. I had a car that it looked like a kid was driving it, and I had a car full of buddies with me, and I parked in a handicap spot, and this dude, he had the balls to pull behind me, and he was like, "Hey, man." if you're not disabled, don't park there. And I like threw my door open and I started cussing him out. He drove off and we went to leave. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to go say something to him. And I pull up beside this dude and he probably thought we were going to jump him or something. This dude looked like he was going to shit his pants. And I told him, I was like, dude, I'm in a chair. Like, I'll show you the chair. It's in the trunk. Like, but yeah, I've definitely gotten plenty of those kind of
Yeah.
comments for people. They want to be the hero.
Yes. Yeah, it depends on what kind of mood I'm in that day. There was a, it's been a hot minute, but I think the last time a lady pulled up and said, you shouldn't be parking there. It's for disabled people. I didn't say a word. I opened my door, I leaned back, grabbed the frame of my chair over my body, put it down. She just and I'm grabbing the wheel, and I didn't say a word. I'm just
Oh, that's the
staring at
best.
her as I'm putting my chair together, plop it out, transfer over, shut the door, and I just start rolling, looking at her. She, if she was a dog, her tail would have been between her legs because she was
You
heading the
right?
other way. She did not finish whatever she was doing at the store. She was done.
Wow. That's the perfect way to handle that too.
Yeah, because sometimes
Just
I will
go.
get mouthy, but other
Yeah.
times let me just start putting this together. You'll eat your
Yeah,
words.
I've been that where I'll just kind of like let the chair do the talking. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like they see it and they're like, "Oh." And then they immediately, they either run off or they just like start apologizing, something along those lines. I had somebody one time where they started putting my chair into the car and they actually the way they put it in the car, they got it stuck. Like I went to get out of the car. I went to go get out of the car at my house and it was fucking stuck. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like
No way.
this made my life worse. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, dude.
When people try to help, I'm like, no, no, I got to flow.
Yeah,
Don't
like
mess
I
my
got a
flow up,
setup.
bro. I got
Yeah.
stuck. That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, it was wild. They put it on with the wheels on. That's what it was. They put it in the back seat with the wheels still on. I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna get this thing out now?
Yeah. Oh my word. Yeah.
Because it was one of the chairs that fold up, like where it's
Okay.
scissor, like it kind of scissors up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was years ago. It was back before I had the solid frame wheelchairs.
I had one time. I had a Grand Dam. I had a four-door Pontiac Grand Dam. This is early in my 20s. And I had a car full of friends. I don't remember what the hell we were doing, but you saying your chair got stuck made me remember this experience. I drop everybody off. I go home, and I look back and I went, "Shit, where's my wheelchair?" Then I was like, "Oh, the fucking thing is in the trunk." So I had to put the seat down, pop the back seat down,
Yep.
pull the trunk and release out, and I'm literally like hanging out of the back of the trunk, putting my chair together because it was all
Oh
the
my
way in the back.
gosh. Have you ever had your chair roll away from you?
Yes, yes.
It's the
And
fucking worst, man.
I had it a couple times. There's two that stick out. When I was back in Elwood before I moved, I went to Unimart. I don't even know. I think Unimart's still there
I
since
think
the last
so.
time I've been home.
Yeah.
I parked on the side, and my damn chair rolled right out into the alley, and I had to wait till somebody kind of pulled up. The other one about it was before COVID because we were still working in the office. I pull up to work, and it was like the same spot I park at all the time. And I don't know what changed. I get my chair out and I was reaching over to grab my bag, and I look over and my damn chair is all the way to the other side of the parking lot. So I
It's
picked up
always the
my
bag, man. It's always when you go
yes.
to grab the bag.
So I picked up the phone. I called my coworker. His name was Jeff. I said, Jeff, still a great buddy of mine. I said, what are you doing? He goes, about to do a one-on-one with an employee. Why? What's up? I said, I need you to come down to the parking lot. My goddamn wheelchair rolled to the other side. And he just, all you hear is laughter. Period. You just hear laugh. And you can hear him walking through the office. Hold on. Gardner's chair rolled away from him. I'm going to go down and save him. All right, buddy, I'll be down in a minute. Click. And I'm
Oh,
just
that's
sitting there.
amazing.
And you just see Jeff walking with his big stupid smile on his face. Hey, buddy, you need some help? I'm like, yeah, go get my chair.
I love that. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Oh,
Yeah, that's happened to me
ridiculous.
way too many times. So like now I make sure that I put one lock on. I always put one lock on. Like as soon as I like bring it off the crane, I have one lock on so it doesn't roll away.
I haven't had locks on my chair since I was in high school.
Really?
Every
How do
chair
you
I've
do it?
gotten, well, I'm kind of starting to regret it as I'm getting older because I
Yeah.
get jealous. And I see some of my teammates, they'll put the brake on and they're chilling. And my wife and I, we just went to Vegas beginning of the year, and we had to take a bus from the airport to the rental place to get the car, and
Oh,
I'm
dude.
sitting there, and right there is when I was like, I wish I had brakes because I was rolling and I'm
You
holding
try
on,
to
but
hold on.
I don't know. I guess I got so accustomed to just either using my elbows, if I need to be sitting in place,
Okay.
if I am parking and it's on a hill, if I can, I'll back up and then I'll
Yeah.
have the nose of my car downhill. And then when I'm putting the chair together, it's hitting the door versus going anywhere else. But yeah, I'm kind of starting. Maybe my next chair I get, I'll leave the brakes on. But because now I see that they like clip underneath the chair and they're out of the
Yeah,
way.
you
But
can get the yeah.
yeah, I would always scrape my thumbs off and shit. And that's really why I got rid of them.
Yeah, I've ripped fingernails off before.
Yeah, yeah,
That
that's why
hurts.
that's the
Hurts so
first thing I
bad.
take off. And I
Yeah.
don't have a seatbelt on my chair anymore either. Like I
No, I don't
stopped.
do the seatbelt thing.
No,
Like it's not a fucking car. Like I'm fine. Like
right, right.
so
Like I
stupid.
hate it.
I think I
I
stopped
wiped
putting the
out.
seatbelt on it like 5 chairs ago because I was like, no, this is dumb.
I did it. I did it when I was in high school. We were playing. We were well, we were playing. I think we were playing street ball, and the basketball rolled down the hill, and I was like, "Let me get it, let me get it." And I'm rolling down the hill. Well, something clipped my wheel, and me and the chair went flying, and it scraped my knee. So I
Oh,
had to get a skin graft on my knee because I blew out my knee
damn.
because the chair dragged me down the hill.
Oh
In
my
West End,
gosh.
in West End and Elwood City, you know how some of them hills be,
Yeah.
and that's what I was rolling down. So I clipped something, and ever since then is when I don't have seatbelts on my chairs
You're like,
anymore
yeah,
because
that that's it.
if I fall, the chair's not going with me. And
Uh-uh.
and I'm glad I did that because about a year ago, I have a pool in my house. It's in ground, and I have just enough of a walkway for my chair to fit to get to my actual backyard. And the one day I'm letting the dogs out, I'm looking at something, and the next thing I know, I'm in the goddamn swimming pool, wheelchair
Holy
and all.
shit.
I float to the top. I'm like, because I was caught off guard. And I look down, my wheelchair's at the bottom of the damn pool. My wife comes out and goes, "What the hell's going on? What did you do?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I was looking at something and I just slipped right into the pool."
Wow, that's crazy.
So I changed my clothes. She got the damn chair out of the pool and let it dry out. And of course, I had to spray oil on stuff because it started
Oh
rusting the
yeah.
bearings and stuff. Seat cushion took like 4 days to dry out.
That
So
is
I'm lucky I didn't
wild.
have my seatbelt on because I probably would have been still sitting at the bottom of the pool.
Damn.
Oh man.
That's insane. So you were saying that you had pressure ulcers. So you've used the beds before, and like, what was the longest like pressure ulcer you ever had to deal with?
Man, I think the longest one, if I remember correctly, was the one on my ass.
Okay.
Uh, and it was right around, I want to say it was like when I was in fifth grade because I was held back in fifth grade for spending so much time out of school.
Yeah.
And I spent a good chunk at a rehab in Pittsburgh. I can't remember the name of it. It was in Shady Hill, but it was because I couldn't get rid of the pressure sores on my ass basically. So
Wow.
that's when I was sleeping in that sand bed. And then they had me in a wheelchair where it would fold straight out, and I'd be on my stomach the whole time, and I'd roll around just laying flat on this chair for
Damn.
months. And I think that correlated along when I had my back surgery too. So I had rods put in my back, and I think all that kind of meshed together, recovery wise and so forth. I was probably in there a good 2 months, maybe even a little bit more.
Now, what got you
Uh,
through that? Because like, so whenever I had my pressure ulcer, I was on full bed rest for 9 months, and I'll
yeah,
tell you what, that was one of the hardest experiences I've ever had to deal with. Just because like, just like mentally trying to keep everything together. Of like, here you are, basically stuck in this bed. Like for me. Most of the time, I was only up for about an hour. Like once it started to heal, they said, okay, you can start to get out of bed, but you can only be up for like an hour a day.
Yeah.
Um, and which was nice because like I could lift. Like I mean, I still lifted, but most of my lifting was done in the bed. And then once they allowed me to start getting up a little bit, I'd go to my basement. But it was a hard time, man. Like I was, I played video games constantly, but I was just curious, like to hear from another person's standpoint of like what that was like for you.
Yeah. So when did you have yours more in your adult era, or was it
So I
because
was 20 years old whenever I had mine.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So I've had a lot of pressure sores, but it was when I was younger.
Okay.
Luckily, knocking on wood now, my adulthood, I've been good.
Sure.
I've had them in the crevice of my hips, basically, and I always thought it was genes. But to answer your question, man, and it's funny because my wife and I was watching The Pit the other day, and somebody broke their ass bone on the show,
Yeah.
and I looked at my wife and I was like, I don't have a tailbone. And she's like, what? And I was like, I'm pretty sure I told you this before. She's like, no. So they took my tailbone out years
No
ago,
shit.
or fused it or something. But yeah, so there's that. Um, I remember, being in rehab, and there was a lot of cool folks that were around with me at that time. And I mean, I played a lot of Donkey Kong Country. I got really damn good at NBA Jam back then. Um, but yeah, I mean, I've been lucky my adulthood. Everything's really kind of happened to me in my childhood, in my youth. I
Sure.
climbed up on a metal slide one time as a kid, and this and one of the main reasons why I don't wear shorts even to this day. But I had shorts on and third degree the back of my leg. I had to do a skin graft on
Wow.
that because I was up on the metal slide forever and a day. But yeah, I mean, I think it was just the people, and then just I was young, so I didn't really have anything else to go to the wayside. Now, I will tell you.